when dealing with exponents, it's very important that you understand what the numbers mean. And so when I see 3 to the power of 2, this big 3 represents the base, that is the factor, and that's the number that's multiplied by itself. The little number, the power or the exponent, tells you how many times you multiply the larger number by itself. And I don't mean larger in value, I mean the number that's written larger. So this is the exponent, and it tells us how many times we're going to multiply this by itself. So 3 to the power of 2, or 3 squared, means that there are 2 3's being multiplied. So that's 3 times 3. So just to kind of go over all of them, or some of them, if you have 3 to the power of 1, that means that there is 1 3, which has a value of 3. 3 to the power of 2, or 3 squared, means that there are 2 3's, which has a value of 9. 3 cubed, or 3 to the power of 3, means that there are 3 3's, and if I do the math, 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27. 3 to the power of 4 means that there are 4 3's. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 times 3 is 81. 3 to the power of 5, or 3 to the 5th power, is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 times 3 is 81, 81 times 3 is 243. Now, when you're dealing with exponents, it's really important that you understand about the base, and especially if they're negative numbers. So if I gave you a problem like negative 5 squared, the base here is simply just the 5, meaning that this is the same thing as negative 1 times 5 squared. This negative sign goes with the whole problem, not with the base. So if I do the math on this one, 5 squared is equal to 25, and then negative 1 times 25 is equal to negative 25. So negative 5 squared is equal to negative 25. If I want the base to be negative, I need to put the negative sign inside parentheses with the number. So if I wanted to do negative 5 squared, it would look like this, and since the negative 5 is in parentheses, that means the base is negative 5, and that's what is repeated. So this is negative 5 times negative 5, which is positive 25. So that's what this is saying right here in the expression negative 5 squared. 5 is the base because the negative sign is not in parentheses. In the expression negative 2, with inside the parentheses, the negative 2 is the base because of the parentheses. Okay, so let's do a couple of examples with that. If you've got negative 6 cubed, because the negative 6 is in the parentheses, that means the negative 6 is what repeats, or what is multiplied by itself 3 times. So negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. And since negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36, remember a negative times a negative is positive, and then I've got times negative 36 left. Well, 36 times 6 is 216, and because it's a positive times a negative, my answer is negative. So to recap, if you're multiplying signs that are the same, your answer is positive. If you're multiplying signs that are different, your answer is negative. So negative 6 to the power of 3 is negative 216. Negative 10 squared. This is like saying negative 1 times 10 squared, because that negative is not in the parentheses, so the base is not negative 10. So 10 squared is equal to 100. Negative 1 times 100 is negative 100. Alright, same thing with fractions. 2 ninths squared means 2 ninths times 2 ninths. And the rule multiplying with fractions is that you just multiply straight across. You multiply your numerator times your denominator, and your numerator times your numerator, and your denominator times your denominator. So 2 times 2 is 4, and 9 times 9 is 81. So 2 ninths squared is 4 over 81. Negative 5 cubed. Again, the base is 5 here. The base is not negative 5, so it's going to be like negative 1 times 5 cubed. 5 cubed means 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. Then I multiply it by the negative 1, and I end up with negative 125. Negative 7 squared, the base is negative 7, so that means the base is what's multiplied by itself using 2 times because of the exponent. Negative 7 times negative 7 is positive 49. And then the last one, 3/4 cubed, means 3/4 times 3/4 times 3/4. 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64. So 3/4 cubed is 27 over 64. And if it could be simplified, you would need to simplify it. We always simplify fractions, but in this example, it cannot be simplified because there are no common factors between 27 and 64.